Hello and welcome, you guys. It is time for some ZVZ from LiquidSheth, spawning here in the 2 o'clock position as the Red Zerg, playing from Team Liquid. Our hero of the day, we've got Sheth. His Zerg opponent today, spawning in the 5 o'clock position here as the Blue Zerg, we have this Korean guy. This Korean guy, which my Korean is not that good, but it is good enough to know what that means. That means I want, or give me a girlfriend. It means give me a girlfriend. So, I guess the guy wants a girlfriend. He's definitely playing the wrong game for getting girlfriends, I think. Hate to break it to him. God, that's so painful. Anyway, we're going to see how Sheth plays out his ZVZ in this game here on the Korean server. Koreans generally known for their very, very aggressive styles in ZVZ. Not that uncommon at all to see pools go down before the 10 food supply. As we can see, that's exactly what is going to be going down here from our good Blue Zerg buddy here, as this spawning pool is already going down, as he has not even made a single overlord yet. The only overlord that is out on the field is this one, and Sheth actually sent his scouting in this direction while his opponent sent one in this direction. So the reason they're both sending their overlords in this direction is, for example, if you are Sheth spawning in this position, if you send your overlord southwards, then you are going to get here to your opponent's base, and then you kind of have to retreat back this way, where your opponent could send possibly a queen down to kill it. Whereas if you go this way, you're going to be coming from this side of the base, where if you look down on the mini-map here, there is you can scout and then just pull right back to here, and there is no chance of any queen or anything coming all the way around here to come get you. You're super safe. But now, of course, now that this overlord has now gotten into the base of Sheth, he does know where his opponent has spawned, and so he's changing the course of that overlord to head south. We do see a couple of Lings are now out on the field. We do see 2 more are on the way for our Blue Zerg buddy. He's just now starting to get his gas geyser. Sheth actually went for a fairly fast expansion here. He did go for a gas pool opening here, followed by a hatchery. So he is going to be going for a little bit more economic style of play, and that could actually come back to hurt him a little bit, as Zerglings are soon going to be getting into his base, as more are on the way right now for our Blue Zerg buddy who wants a girlfriend. And as we can see, Sheth's drone micro going to have to be very careful with his drones here. He wants to try to micro back the weak drones. He also wants to try to make use of the drone ghosting trick. That is, of course, where you group up your drones by selecting them all, right-clicking on a mineral patch so that they ghost through any units while they try to get to that mineral patch, and then while they move in one big clump until they surround the Zerglings, then you just hit either attack and then move. You just hit a move, and then they will kind of just split out, instantly surrounding all of your opponent's units. And ooh, as Sheth did get into the natural here, see that no hatchery was going down, and he's seeing all these Zerglings now coming out on the way. He did cancel that hatchery, and he's now going to just be producing pure Zerglings right now, leaving just one guy on gas. If we check out the harvester count, Sheth is a little bit ahead, 13 harvesters to 11 right now. You can see that our opponent had to stop drone production quite a while ago if he's going to want to be able to get up all these units. As we do see, he does have a Baneling nest here on the way, and that's going to be completing very soon, and it looks like he is going to be waiting for those Banelings. There's a lot of Lings right outside of his opponent's base right now, and Sheth actually opting for an early second queen, and I really like this move from Sheth. This is absolutely a brilliant move to do in this position. You want to get 2 queens to hold position on the ramp to prevent Zerglings from getting up. Zerglings and Banelings from getting up into your main. It'll protect your Zerglings very well without you having to resort to using roaches, especially when you have these low numbers of workers. And as you can see, brilliantly placed Spine Crawler here. Some Zerglings are going to finally get into the map. 1 queen is going to go down, but a lot of Banelings were lost there. And oh, Sheth loses some Zerglings to that 1 Baneling spawning just in time, and oh, we now have a lot of Slowlings that are now out the bottom of Sheth's ramp. We do see another queen is already on the way. Notice he's not scared to stop all worker production right now. Notice Sheth not making any more workers, and he actually is up in harvesters. Because if you're playing defensive, chances are you are probably ahead in workers. For a player like our blue Zerg buddy to have this many lings up this early, he really had to cut his worker production, and Sheth knows that, so he is not at all afraid right now to just produce strictly Zerglings, and now he does have Zergling speed, which is a bit of an advantage over his opponent, who does not have Zergling speed, hasn't even started it yet, and now Sheth's going to be in a fantastic position to hold off all of these slow lings, just because, one Baneling does manage to get into the mineral line there, and they are going to do some damage there, and it looks like all the rest of them are now going to be cleaned up as one more Baneling moves in. Sheth is not going to lose any drones, but he's going to lose quite a bit of lings to that, but now Sheth has a big advantage here, as he is up still in the harvester count, 12 harvesters to 11, as our blue Zerg buddy did get 7 worker kills there, but since Sheth, since he had to cut so many workers of his own, Sheth is now going to be way ahead, or not way ahead, but he's going to be a little bit ahead, as he was mining with more workers for longer. Now it looks like Sheth finally getting the chance to go on the aggressive chance here, as actually Zerglings with speed do a lot better against slow Zerglings. Slow Zerglings are actually really bad against Speedlings. Speedlings get very quick surrounds on slow Zerglings and are able to DPS them quite quickly, and as we can see, these Banelings though making it very hard for Sheth to even do anything, even though he does have those speedless Zerglings, and look at that, he's still not really producing any more workers. Sheth continuing to get more and more workers back home. If we check out the harvester count, he is squeezing in workers in between his Zerglings. He's producing both workers and Zerglings at the same time, so that he can continue to apply pressure on his opponent, and nice use of that Zergling micro there to pick off small numbers of Banelings if he can, trying to make those Banelings as cost ineffective as he possibly can. Now getting into the opponent's main, getting the drone count. Absolutely critical scout here. This is a huge move here from Sheth, because this allows him to see that, well, he doesn't need to make any more workers, or he doesn't need to make any more, that's right. He doesn't need to make any more workers now. He can go strictly to drone or Zergling production and be 100% A-okay, because he knows that he is way ahead in the harvester count. We do see the Baneling nest is going down, and we are not going to see any drones on the production tab. That's exactly the way it should be. Sheth would be really ballsy to be getting up any kind of workers right now. Needs to be going strictly for Zerglings, and as we can see, his opponent still has no Zergling speed, and Sheth just going to do a big run by here because he has these 2 queens here able to hold the ramp, but no, all the Banelings are going to get through there, and Sheth is now going to be forced to pull back all those lings, and this is actually going to be a scary position here for Sheth, as all the Banelings are going to start to get into the mineral line, and brilliant splits here by Sheth, as Sheth actually loses a lot of workers there. If we take out the workers killed count, 13 workers killed so far, bringing Sheth back down to 10, but notice, even though Sheth lost a lot of workers, he is still pretty much even with his opponent. His opponent is dead even right now, and Sheth has Zergling speed right now, so Sheth is now moving out right now, going to be able to catch all these Zerglings out in the middle of the map, but that one Baneling going to get quite a few hits. A little bit of miss micro there from Sheth, as neither player has an expansion. Both players still just running on just one base. And a lot of Zerg players in Sheth's position will start to feel like, oh, this just feels horrible. It feels like I have no workers. It's the 11-minute mark. I have no expansion. I'm still on one base. I have nothing but lings and banelings and not that many workers. But again, you have to keep in mind that if you go back and watch the replay, a lot of times when you're in these positions where your opponent is being super aggressive with lings and banelings this early on, that you are just going to have a ton more workers than your opponent. Finally, it looks like our blue Zerg opponent is finally starting to squeeze in some workers, and as we can see, they are just about dead even in the harvester count. Sheth just a tiny bit down, but that is of course because he's getting this very fast hatchery up. If we check out the units lost tab, we can see that our blue Zerg buddy has been not quite so cost effective with his units, as his resources lost tab shows more resources lost than Sheth, and it looks like finally he is going to be getting ready to expand. Once again, don't feel like this hatchery going down this late at the 12-minute mark is late. This is actually a very normal hatchery timing, considering the kind of aggression that Sheth was facing in the early game, and now Sheth going to be scouting his opponent's base. Doesn't actually see that base going down quite yet, trying to get some speedlings into his opponent's base. Zergling speed still not completed for our blue Zerg buddy, and there's the scout that Sheth needs. That's exactly the scout that he needs to be able to get right now. He's going to see that that hatchery is going to be going down, which is going to allow him to get a lot more workers up. As we can see, a harvester count, 23 harvesters to 18 right now, as Sheth is in a fantastic spot right now to be able to take this game. Now moving the spine crawler down onto the low ground, main-arting some drones into his natural expansion as well. Now that he sees this expansion, he is completely free to drone. He is going to need to get up some lings because he saw this baneling count at his opponent's base. That is going to be a little bit scary right now, so he's going to need to produce some zerglings so that he can take some map control here and know if that force is starting to move out. If there's one thing I can give our blue zerg buddy right now is that his creep spread is actually pretty decent right now. He's spreading creep across the map. Creep spread is one of those things that's kind of, whereas in every other matchup it's almost a necessity, in ZVZ it's kind of do it if you want to do it. The one advantage it gives you is it gives you a little bit of map vision. That is what you get from it. And ooh, Sheth once again, actually that was way better. He didn't lose nearly as many banelings there, and Sheth now evenly trading banelings. This is what he wants to do, and oh no, doesn't want to engage these baneling cocoons because baneling cocoons actually take 3 hits from a baneling. Just 2 banelings will not actually do that much. And oh no, it looks like Sheth is going to get up into the main. He's going to start to pick off some workers here, and that's a brilliant move as his one baneling does connect with a lot of zerglings. Manages to get a lot of worker kills there. 6 workers killed so far, as well as zerglings. So now we're starting to see a lot of drones on the production tab here from Sheth. Look at that, fully saturated in the natural as well as in the main on minerals. Still just mining 1 on gas, and Sheth is now way ahead of his opponent right now. Because he got so many ling kills right now, he's feeling absolutely super duper safe. Going to be getting some lings just to be able to take map control once again, but still focusing mostly on drones right now. And he just did lose an overlord back here at the back of the base, but no big deal right now for Sheth, as he is looking like he is in an absolutely fantastic spot here, taking a very fast third, putting some overlords in position to scout the third of his opponent. Going to be in a very good spot. If we take out the harvester count right now, we can see the harvester count is even, but Sheth is going to be mining on 3 bases here very soon. Not to mention he's been mining on his natural, fully saturated for a lot longer, so he's doing fantastically well right now, continuing to be aggressive with small numbers of banelings. Why? Because this is fairly cost effective. As long as he's trying to move out with banelings and just trying to force trades right now, he's just trying to get whatever kind of kills that he can. Look at that, he's even trying to go the queen if he can. He's just trying to do whatever damage he can right now to prevent his opponent from droning. He doesn't want his opponent to drone because he knows he droned past the number of workers that his opponent has already. So now he just wants his opponent, he just wants to force lings, force lots of lings, force anything but drones out of his opponent. So just keep applying light pressure with small numbers of lings and banelings while he continues to get small numbers of drones, amounts of tech. Tech is also very good in this position. Notice he's getting the +1 melee attack as well. The baneling speed not quite up yet. Do we have lair tech actually up for Sheth? No, we don't see any lair tech, but lair tech has been completed by our blue zerg opponent, as he is now going straight for a spire. And now I'm actually going to check out the unit counting station here, as if we check out the unit counting station, everything is fairly even except drone count. Drone count, no, actually no. Drone count is not even in zergling count either. Zergling count is way up for Sheth, as well as the drone count. So Sheth is in just an absolutely fantastic position. Opponent still not taking a third, and at this point Sheth going to be feeling very good about his chances in this game. But he doesn't have a whole lot of defense against air right now, and he does not yet know about this spire. No, he does not. He hasn't seen the spire yet. He did, I believe, run an overseer. I thought I saw an overseer running around here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe I was just seeing things, but we do have 6 mutas on the way, and Sheth actually has nothing against mutas right now. All he has is lings and banelings. He's going to be moving in with a big number of them here, but there are a lot of spine crawlers here at the front end. Oh, bad move there by Sheth, actually moving in with the banelings first. You want to move in with the zerglings first, so that the banelings actually get the chance to run by there. Not quite getting the run by that Sheth really wanted to do, and the baneling numbers here are really high for our blue zerg buddy, and he's actually going to get a lot of zergling kills. And here come the mutas, and Sheth does spot the mutas, and how is he going to respond to that? We do see spore crawlers. There we go. Spores now going down here for Sheth. 3 in the natural. Looks like 2 in the main. Do we have any going down at the third? None going down at the third. He really needs to get some as soon as he can, because now these mutas are going to be a very strong force to have to deal with. And look at this. This is a brilliant move here by Sheth. Actually starting to get lots and lots of queens down. He's producing 3 queens right now. More and more spore crawlers on the way, as well as connecting his base with creep. And doesn't quite get the transfuse there, and now needs to pull back to these spore crawlers. Needs to transfuse as much as he can. And I actually really like this from Sheth. The fact that he's getting so many queens. Look at all these queens. this is all just minerals. This is minerals right now, which is not a big deal for Zerg. Gas is the big thing that you need to manage very carefully as a Zerg player here. But by getting up lots of queens early on, you can defend Mutalisks quite well with just queens and spore crawlers, and you've only spent minerals. That means your gas can be focused into things like getting upgrades, getting your roaches out, getting up lots of tech. The lair is now up. Hydralisk Den is up as well here for Sheth. If we check out the harvester count right now, Sheth is up 65 harvesters to 48. Third now being taken for our Zerg buddy. I do like that he's taking this hatchery here as he moves out with these with all these Mutalisks here, because Sheth is really not going to be able to put too much pressure back on his opponent right now, as he's going to have to worry about all these Mutalisks here, and now these Mutalisks being very, very annoying in the main of Sheth. Looks like he's going to be able to get out one of those gas geysers, but look at all the queens that are now up for Sheth here. With those, he's going to be able to do such a nice little defense here, as long as he connects his bases with creep, and once again, all of his gas still completely freed up to do whatever he wants, getting lots of upgrades. Notice his opponent. His opponent has Mutalisk numbers, but that's about it. I don't think he has any upgrades, no +1 coming down on his Spire yet, no Evolution Chamber even down right now, and Sheth is going to be losing some Overlords out here in the middle of the map, but no big deal for Sheth. He's going to be producing lots and lots more, and once these forces get out, they are going to start to be really, really good. Grooved Spines is up on the way. That is the Hydralisk range upgrade, as well as +1 Carapace, as well as +1 missile attacks here for his Hydralisk. So much tech coming down here for Sheth, as he's leaving small groups of units all over the place once again, as the Hydralisks have now been revealed, and Sheth now being forced to pull back, because that's actually a lot of Mutalisks from our blue Zerg buddy, as he's trying to get in, trying to find a good place to do some damage, trying to pick off any stray buildings, stray overlords, whatever he can, as he continues to macro up some more forces back in his own base. Once again, just no tech. No tech. There's actually a second Baneling Nest. That must be a mistake. That was probably supposed to be an evolution chamber, but that looks like that is just going to be a second Baneling Nest, which is not going to help at all, not in the slightest. I'm curious to see if he's going to do anything with it, or if he's going to realize that that was actually a big mistake that he just made there. But look at the Roach numbers, the Hydralisk numbers getting much, much higher for Sheth, as he continues to rally up more and more Roaches and Hydras, as these are now going to be +1/+1 very shortly. There we go, +1 armor just now completing, as +1/+1 completes. Looks like Sheth is going to be using that as his cue to be aggressive. Notice he does have an Overseer here in with his army. This I really, really like. Against Mutas, it's not that big of a deal, but in ZVZ in general, you want to be keeping Overseers with your army, just because burrowed Roaches can be very, very difficult to deal with, especially if you don't have burrow like Sheth does not have right now. You always want to have an Overseer with your army, because if your opponent has burrowed Roaches, and holy cow, that's a lot of Banelings that are now moving and dealing so much damage to all those Hydralisks, but lots and lots of Transfuses going down on the Queens, keeping them nice and alive. Like I was saying, burrowed Roaches, if you don't have Roaches, burrowed Roaches are actually ridiculously hard to deal with, because, well, you can't see them at all, so you always want to have an Overseer with your army at all times, especially if you don't have burrowed Roaches and your opponent might, if there's any chance your opponent might have burrowed Roaches. Now Sheth continuing to macro out more and more forces, 61 harvesters to 55 right now. I'm actually surprised that our blue Zerg buddy is still in this game. Sheth has been ahead for quite a while, continuing to macro up lots and lots of Roaches, and lots of Hydralisk. Infestation Pit now on the way as well. That's such a late Infestation Pit, but at this point, it doesn't really matter that much. He's been spending a lot of time getting these Hydralisk and Roaches up, so he doesn't really need that up right away. All he needs that to get up so that he can get his Hive up and start to get up his Evolution Chamber as well. And now these Mutalisks are going to start to move into the main of Sheth, going to start focusing on that Evolution Chamber. He's actually starting to take a lot of damage, but Sheth is actually just going to go for the big counterattack here. Big numbers of Banelings here from our blue Zerg buddy, and this is actually going to be very dangerous here for Sheth, because Hydralisks actually die really quickly to Banelings. So if those Banelings are able to connect well with those Hydralisks, he's going to be in big trouble. And nice kiting back there by Sheth here, as his losses there were actually not too bad here, allowing his Queens to tank the damage from those Banelings. These Mutalisks continuing to deal lots and lots of damage here, but Sheth just pushing in with this huge army into the base of his opponent. 166 food to the 110 food of his blue Zerg opponent, as he's now moving in, going to be focusing down that third quite quickly, macroing up lots and lots of Hydralisks back home, as we can see lots of Hydralisks on the production tab, using up all that gas, all the spare minerals going into producing lots and lots of Zerg. The third does fall as Sheth starts to move into the natural expansion of his opponent. Lots and lots of spine crawlers going down here, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as all of these forces are +1/+1 right now in upgrades, and more forces are going to be streaming out of Sheth's bait, and brilliantly played here by Sheth. Overall, just really well played. And look at all those transfuses going down on those Hydras, keeping them alive against all of these Mutalisks, and those Mutalisks just falling so fast to these 1/1 Hydralisks. Notice these Mutalisks did have the +1 Flyer Carapace, but it just was not good enough for that huge number of Hydralisks. Of course, the +1 attack just help in taking down those Mutalisks very quickly, and the +1 armor, of course, helps against Mutalisks because Mutalisk attacks bounce. Once it hits one target, it bounces to other nearby targets, and if you have a +1 armor, then it reduces every single bounce by 1 damage, so it actually multiplies quite effectively and scales very well against Mutas. So you always want to be trying to get those Carapace upgrades when you're going Hydralisks against Mutas. So, brilliantly played games there by Sheth, taking his time, being very patient, reading his opponent carefully. Overall, extremely well played games by Sheth. I hope you guys enjoyed those Sheth games today. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. Please comment down below to let me know what I can do to make these casts better for you guys. And let me know also what kind of games you want to see. If you guys have players that you want to see in particular. I know I got a request for Goody recently. I am on the lookout for Goody games. I was looking around for Goody games today, and I didn't really see a whole lot. So very soon, I promise you, as soon as I see some Goody games, I will be getting some of those up, because someone did request some Goody games, wants to see some of those Goody games. If you have requests of your own, submit them down at the comments down below, and I will see them. I respond to every single comment because I heart you subscribers ever so much. Hit that subscribe button. I will heart you and send you more and more hearts all day long. Thanks for watching, guys. Glitch out.